it's a way for you to just quiet the noise for a moment and to
Mm-hmm.
sit in silence, because it's so rare for us to have moments in silence to really just, think for ourselves and maybe even hear the thoughts in the back of our mind.
Mm-hmm. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Infinite Ability Podcast. I am your host, Nick Yerhart, and we are here to encourage each other to find our own unique abilities. Let's go. All right, everyone. On today's episode, I have Sarina, and I can't wait for you to hear what she does and her story because she is awesome. So, Sarina, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, Nick. I'm so excited to be here today. I'm so happy to be on this podcast with you. So just to break it down, I'm a holistic wellness coach, and specifically, I'm a burnout recovery coach. So I help people through burnout, through overwhelm and exhaustion, and I help them access their inner joy, vitality, and their peace. And I got into this line of work because of my own wellness journey and my own burnout journey. And that journey started about, I'd say like 12 or so years ago. And I was in a burnout that lasted about a decade. So
Really?
It was a pretty heavy burnout. And it was kind of like interwoven with work and life and professional and personal things. So I was in a bit of a toxic relationship, and it was sort of like this baseline place that I was operating from, and I didn't really know that I could, or at least I didn't feel like I could get out of it. So a lot of my kind of like emotional, I'd say, challenges and pain came from being in this emotionally dark place and not really knowing how and what to do with all that. And on top of that, I ended up manifesting an illness called Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which is also known as Hashimoto's, and that's a thyroid autoimmune condition. And so navigating those symptoms on top of some of my burnout symptoms were pretty interesting. And I ended up somehow in the midst of all that launching my own juice business in Los Angeles, and actually sold the business during the pandemic, and then set out to rediscover myself once my relationship ended. And of course, that's kind of like when I started diving into yoga and meditation and Ayurveda and mindfulness and all these like really beautiful things to help me expand. And I can tell you a little bit more about all of that fun stuff. And I ended up also going on an adventure, a travel adventure. I booked a one-way flight to Paris, and I ended up traveling for 9 months. And that's actually the time in which I spent with myself and to myself, and was able to kind of like come out of this darkness and really access my joy and my vitality. And now I'm a coach, and I help people access their own joy and vitality through a more accelerated way, instead of going through this like arduous long journey. And my goal is to support as many people as possible, so I do that now.
That's incredible. And the awesome thing is you took your hard time, you got through it, and now you're showing other people how they can get through it through your own experiences. And as coaches, that's what we do. We take our experiences and we help others, and it's so powerful. And you can connect with the clients on a deeper level because you understand.
Yes. It's all about the lived experience. And I know firsthand what people are actually going through and how so many people are burnt out. We throw that word around a lot. Like, oh yeah, I'm burnt out. Like when I talk to as many people as I do talk to, I know that they're so burnt out. And it's almost like want the help, but some of them are just not able or don't want to invest in themselves bad enough. But I do like to express my story because, first of all, it's hard for me to say the story. It's not the easiest thing for me to express, but I want people to feel vulnerable enough to share their own experience, as you do yourself, and you're a great example of that. And for people to know that they can be vulnerable, and vulnerability is actually strength. And ask for help too, because when we're at these low lows, sometimes we're like stuck. It's like the stuckness. You can't get rid of it. But asking for help, whether through a therapist, a friend, a coach, whatever it is, I think it's very, very important. So that's kind of like my vision for sharing, is so that, I can share the story and people can relate, but also for other people to feel like they can open up and express themselves.
Exactly. Like you said, it's hard for people to get help, find help, talk to someone.
Yes.
We tend to just kind of keep it to ourselves. It's like we don't want people to know how bad we're struggling.
Yes.
And it's like the only way to get through it is usually to get help.
Yes.
So it's so important. I got help. I found support. And I got through, a lot of my challenges that I was facing. And because of all that, now I love who I am. I've accepted my disability. It doesn't define me anymore. It's just a small part of who I am. Yeah, I still, when I get on calls with people, that's one of the first things I say, because it is important for people to know, just so they understand, I'm different in a way, but I'm still me as a person.
That's so beautiful. And when we chatted last, I remember I was telling you that I was nervous to do my first podcast, and since then I've done 2, and I just want you to know that you helped me do the podcast, because I was so nervous. And it's just some like weird external fear that's internalized, and I've had my my process with anxiety, so I kind of like, I've befriended it, but I love how you said that. It's like you're accepting your differences, and differences look different for everybody, like somebody might feel different and might not be able to show it, and some other people show it and also might feel it. So I think it's extremely powerful. And that lesson, I mean, you talked to me for maybe, what was it, like 30 minutes? And just from that conversation, I was like, I can do this,
Oh,
so,
awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
thank you. It was awesome.
And yeah, that's what I'm here for. I like helping people. So, any help I can give, I'm always more than willing to give it.
I love it.
I know you're the same, but as far as you being, nervous and scared, that's all that is your comfort zone holding you back. And as you know, you gotta get out of that comfort zone, because that's the only way you grow.
It's so true. I've been thinking about that so much lately, because every time I think about just like inching my way out of my comfort zone, it's like swimming through the thick of this like mud.
Yep.
So it's hard, like nobody said doing this stuff is easy, or expressing yourself is easy, or telling your story, or asking for help. But again, like exactly how you put it, it's growth, like coming out of your comfort zone and going into the zone of growth. I call it, I mean, everybody knows that as a growth zone, but zone of growth, and reaching new heights. But it might feel challenging, but it's worth it. It's worth it in the end.
Exactly. So tell us more about how you help your clients.
Yeah, sure. So I offer group coaching programs for women, and I also offer individual coaching for everybody. So I have a 3-month program for individual coaching, and for group coaching, I have a 6-month integrative coaching program that's called Transforming Burnout. And essentially you go through 6 weeks with me, and every week I introduce a new module through a training program. And also we meet as a group once a week, and then we go through each module that's been perfectly created to help walk someone through the process of kind of like this self-awareness, self-actualization, and then self-realization. So it's almost like you're developing an understanding of yourself, and then seeing kind of like where the, you know, the heaviness is, and then analyzing that. So there's some like emotional processing that needs to happen usually, and that looks different for everybody. And then understanding your nervous system as well, then moving into this like visualization, meditation, and building the tools necessary for you to be able to move out of it. So processing and then moving out of it, visualizing, so that you can reclaim your joy and your vitality. So yeah, that's the group program, and the individual coaching includes that program, but it's just more customized to the needs of specific people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's incredible.
Thank
I
you.
like how you have like a step-by-step process, because that's important, because that means that you're very clear as a coach how to help people. And you're clear because you went through it yourself. You know? So
yes, exactly. That's why it's 6 weeks, because it's almost like I took my own journey, summarized it, took the like best learnings, and then implemented it so that people don't have to suffer through figuring it out themselves. And it's a mind, body, soul approach. It's a holistic, that's why we're called holistic wellness coaches. You incorporate all parts, and then that creates the human being and this new, more, like, I guess, the best self with a capital S. So you become your best self through the program. And it's something that I'm super passionate about. Yeah.
I can tell, which is
I could talk
amazing.
about it forever.
Oh yeah, that's good though. That's good. That's what you do, you know?
Yeah.
So it's awesome.
Thank you.
So what is the importance of meditation? Because I know for me, that was one thing that I struggled with to do. I now do it almost every day.
Wow, impressive.
That was a struggle.
Yeah.
But then I learned, there's not, one way to do it. Everybody kind of does it their own way. So can you like touch on that just to kind of help people understand, number one, the importance, and number two, just how they can do it themselves?
Yes. So meditation is critical. And why? Because it's a way for you to regulate your nervous system. It's a very important tool, one of the most important, along with breath work and breathing, for you to be able to regulate your nervous system. Because our nervous system is essentially in charge of our health and in charge of our stress response and all the things that essentially regulate your every moment, So it's really connected to every reaction you have, every good reaction and bad. So it's kind of like taking a moment and realizing, oh, wow, my stress response is really playing in the background of every single moment of my life. And how do I regulate that? Well, that's through these tools. And meditation is a big one. Yep. And meditation as you said, doesn't look the same for everybody. So you have to find your way and your flow. And the goal is not to stop thinking. I think a lot of people feel like, why would I just sit there and
exactly.
Right? Yeah. Why would
That's what I thought. Yeah.
And it's a way for you to just quiet the noise for a moment and to sit in silence, because it's so rare for us to have moments in silence to really just, think for ourselves and maybe even hear the thoughts in the back of our mind. And if people who are listening don't know what meditation is like, I would almost say it's like when you're in the shower, that like super relaxed and meditative feeling. I mean, I think most people feel relaxed in the shower, I would hope, unless you're running off to work.
I take a cold shower, so I don't know if I'm that relaxed.
Yeah, maybe not our cold shower people. I do that too, but I do my, the interchanging with the hot and the cold.
Yep.
Also good for your nervous system. Funny enough. But yeah, so when you're, I would say less think warmer water. And when you have a
Yeah.
moment of silence, like your first moment of silence, the kids aren't
Mm-hmm.
bothering you, your dogs, they might be barking, but you're not attending to them.
Mm-hmm.
All of the above, no phone, right? You can't have your phone in the shower.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it feels like, is just, oh wow, like that, and sometimes my most brilliant ideas come to me in the shower. And it's
Yep.
because I
Yep.
finally turn off the noise.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me personally, what's helped with my meditation is just breathing and breath work. So I'll either do like the 4 count, like the box breath,
Mm-hmm.
or some other type of breath work. And
Yep.
then that way you can access that deep inner self. And that's a lot of what my program is building upon this like deep inner self muscle and being able to like
Mm-hmm.
hear that person. And the
Mm-hmm.
easiest way is this tool, which is meditation. And
Yep.
can you relate to that, or is that like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, and you you see what comes to mind, you kind of think about it and then let it go, and
Yes.
you'll be amazed at like what thoughts happen in that moment.
Yes.
It's so powerful, and you realize a lot about yourself during that time, and you figure out how to solve some of the problems that you're having in life during meditation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Which,
another powerful tool is to write some of those thoughts down, because
yes,
a lot of
journaling.
time we ruminate.
Mm-hmm.
So when you actually,
Yeah.
it's like physically seeing yourself write something is like, oh, you process it differently. It's almost like a
Yep.
more concrete way of your brain being like, wow, I really did think that, didn't I? you know?
Yep.
And then,
Yep.
you can choose to let it go when you see it on paper.
Mm-hmm.
Or, if you have a strong enough practice, you can see your thought or hear your thought in meditation and then allow it to pass. And I
Yep.
think non-judgment also, if you're having like
Mm-hmm.
interesting thoughts, or if you feel like, oh wow, I just got distracted and like went to La La Land somewhere, to just understand that that's okay, because a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people will get like feel guilty or bad or ashamed. The whole
Mm-hmm.
point of it is to allow your mind to do what it needs to do, and then to kind of bring it
Yep.
back, let it go away, come back, and then
Mm-hmm.
that helps you work on focus too. But anyway, that's a whole separate thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've actually done hour-long
Wow.
meditations.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Wow.
Have you?
I'd say I've gotten there. It's hard
Yeah.
for me too, I'm not like,
It's an
yeah,
hour long is intense.
it's
It's
intense.
intense. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
building a muscle, right? Kind of.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. What
And
was it like?
it was like, number one, like, so I did it 3 times now. And the first time, it was like I had so much going on that I couldn't like I kept thinking about things that I had to do, and I kept thinking like I'm wasting time, all that. So then the next day I did it again. The very next day, I was like, all right, let's hopefully get somewhere. So
Yeah.
that time, like I focused on my breath, like the whole time, which that helped me like calm down
Mm-hmm.
and release some of the just a day-to-day I gotta do stuff thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of dig down deep into what I'm going through now, more emotional side of things. And
Bingo.
like I realized, like, okay, I'm getting less like mad at people for things that I shouldn't be getting mad or upset about. That was that whole meditation was basically that. I was just like, why? Why am I doing this? And I kind of worked through it and realized like there's no reason for it, so stop.
Wow.
People are people,
Yeah.
and I you can ask my family and friends. I've always been one that I will get irritated quickly, and then there's really like takes me a while to get over it. And now you can ask them, and they're like, "Yeah, you just like it's like whatever."
Yeah, yeah, you're building
It's not.
your resilience muscle.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
like the
But
agitation, kind of like that space between your feeling, and then
hmm
the action. You give it a little gap now, because that's what
yeah,
it is. Meditation is just that space in between.
exactly. And
Amazing.
that meditation, is an hour long. I set a timer. It felt like 20 minutes. It
Wow.
it went so quick. I was like, whoa, yeah.
Do you
And then
like guided too? Guided ones?
that's what I do like almost daily is
Okay.
guided because, like I said, I always think about, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. If I do the guided,
Yeah.
then I can just focus on what they're saying, what they're telling me to do, and that helps me more than just sitting there. Unless I sit there for an hour, then it works good, I guess. But
So that's exactly to the point of finding our own way, you know? I
exactly.
like kind of like nature sounds, so I like the sound of
Mm-hmm.
birds and water, and that's what helps
Yep.
me regulate my nervous system, and I know that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny because it's like when you start meditating, there's that moment where you're like grappling, like it's almost like you're fighting it.
Oh
But
yeah.
I would
Oh yeah.
almost
Mm-hmm.
ask your listeners to test themselves a little, or like push themselves a little further, because if you
Yep.
meditate once and it doesn't work, and you're one of those people like, oh, it doesn't work for me, I would
Yep.
almost say, like, just try it a couple more times and ask yourself why you're resisting so badly and why you can't let go. And it's probably some, subconscious patterns there, and things that are
Yep.
at work, like the guilt of just doing nothing, or
Yeah. And it's the things that you'll figure out during meditation, ironically enough. you
yeah,
know
yeah, like my
and
shower thoughts.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And yeah, definitely don't try it once, don't try it twice. For me, I would say it took 6 days in a row of
That's great advice.
meditating before I was like, oh, I
Mm.
get it now. Like,
Yeah,
oh, I gotta do this every day. Like that's
yeah,
like how it was.
yeah, yeah. And
So yeah,
there's
so
different kinds too.
powerful.
It's
Mm-hmm.
like meta meditation, and then there's like humming. You can like hum. There's so
Mm-hmm.
many ways you could do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I do one of those Om meditations, which I really like that one. That one's really good.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like any sort of vibration in your throat
Mm-hmm.
helps to
Mm-hmm.
stimulate like the vagus nerve, which also helps to regulate the nervous system. So
Oh,
that's why it
okay.
feels so good when
Okay.
you hum, like
Mm-hmm.
and like depending on whether you're humming, like I'm humming with my mouth closed,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel it in my throat, and I hold a lot of
Yep.
tension in my throat,
Mm-hmm.
tension in my throat, neck, shoulders. Um,
Yep.
but I feel like that makes me feel better. Or if you hum like ah with your mouth open, ah, it's sort of
Mm-hmm.
like in your chest. So
Yep.
it's energy is also a vibration. Like you're sending that to different parts of your body. So you can
Exactly.
create your own sort of meditation healing
Mm-hmm.
routine by figuring it out, feeling out what works best for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. I love that.
Yeah.
So, other than meditation, what would be one more very important thing that you would recommend?
We talked a little bit about journaling. We talked a bit
Yep.
about breath work.
I love
Yeah,
breath work.
yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There are some extremes in breath work. So
Oh
I'm
yeah.
one of the people that I feel like if I were to go to a breathwork workshop, I'm not. It's too intense for me, and I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if you or your listeners know exactly what I'm talking about. But it's like the 3-part breath, where it's like I think it's like inhale in your chest, inhale in your belly, and then exhale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
is very intense because you do that for a while. Is that something that
Mm-hmm.
you like?
I I've done it.
Okay.
I don't prefer that
Yeah.
style.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just it's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And it's,
Yeah.
if you're
Yeah.
ready for it, cool. And you will
Mm-hmm.
release something.
Yeah.
But as far as breath work, I'm more of the, it's like breath is prana and prana is life. So your breath is your life. So if you're walking around holding and clenching, you're angry all the time, or you're just nervous all the time, that means you're not breathing, and not only are you not allowing oxygen to flow in and out of your mind, you're also closing your chakra centers off to different energy flowing and you being in flow. So it's almost like envisioning yourself just like letting go and like allowing your muscles to take in that oxygen, allowing your neck and shoulders to have that, the flow of whatever it is, if it's oxygen or energy to flow into your mind and back down into your body. So I am a big believer in breath work and different breath work techniques. I do teach it as well. So I teach yoga and meditation and breath work. So yeah, it's very fun teaching it because people really benefit from it.
Yeah. So my favorite, and it's my favorite because I do it at least 3 times a day. Ooh. I literally have alerts on my phone throughout the day. So it helps me breathe, and then I do it.
Ooh, I like that.
What it is 6 deep breaths in, I hold it at the top, and then I breathe out like I'm breathing out through a straw. So very slow exhale.
Yes.
I do that multiple times a day. Anytime that I'm feeling anxious, overwhelmed, angry, just where you feel that tension that you were talking about, like you just feel tense. Like,
yeah.
It basically works for any moment where you don't feel like yourself.
Yes.
Do that, and it brings you back. It calms you down.
Yes. It's both. It's like physical and it's energetic. Because if you do it, I mean, it's literally science backed. That long exhale is supposed to regulate your nervous system. That's why you immediately calm down. And the reason why,
immediately.
Immediate. It's like literally within seconds. So if you just extend that breath work, which you can do breath work and meditation at the same time, but if you just extend that for, let's say, 10 minutes, then 20, you could go on for as long as you need, right? So it's up to you and how long you need it for. Then you'll be able to like get to that point of like, oh, I'm like actually pretty calm right now, and I can move on to, doing work. And so it's great to have some sort of a routine in place where you can do this stuff before you start your day. My best friend and I always talk about this. We're like, oh, we're so much better when we're like first thing in the morning, we just like do our thing, like have our moment, and then we start the day. Because when we have the days where we jump into the day and we skip out,
it's not good.
Something just goes wrong. Something goes wrong.
I have a morning routine every day.
Oh my gosh, amazing.
A couple of weekends ago, I was at my friend's cabin, and I didn't do it. And it was like halfway through the day, I was just like, what? Something wrong.
Right.
I felt something was off the whole day.
Yeah.
And I was
believe it.
Oh, I didn't meditate. I didn't exercise. I didn't read. Like, I have all these things that I do every morning. It's like,
amazing.
Oh, that's why.
That's why.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. I have I do my breath work in the morning. I always do the slow elongated breath. So inhale for 4 to 6 seconds and then exhale for like 7 to 8. And then I'll do EFT tapping. That's another one of the tools that I teach. So that's essentially like tapping through meridian points in your body. It's like acupressure points. And then you can say affirmations, or you can just tap. I know some people who just tap on their like right near their collarbone. Like even that is a nice like emotional release, or like an anxiety release. And then in the middle of the day, if I can get in a run, I'll get in a run. Cause also I feel like it breaks my day, where it's like, okay, I've worked until like 3-ish. I just need a little bit of a boost, cause I feel like at 3-ish, I'm crashing a bit. My brain stops working a bit. Yeah.
I do the same thing when around 2 or 3 o'clock, I try to exercise.
Nice. Like a little walk, some sunshine.
Yeah, exactly. It boosts your energy a lot.
Yes.
A lot.
Yeah.
So
And so that's what I recommend to people as well, is like, okay, if you can just move a tiny bit, anything, get some like blood flowing.
Yeah.
instead of, the coffee pick-me-up, which a lot of people go to, and that actually drains you more than it picks you up. And then some sunshine. Sunshine is so underrated, It's like,
I know.
it makes me so happy. So it's an automatic energy boost. So that's kind of my midday. Yeah.
Yep. That's awesome.
Thanks.
Do you do grounding?
So I wish I did it more. I do it when I have the chance. Yeah. I feel like there's like biohacking tools like mats you can get to like ground, which I'm considering.
Yep, me too.
In my ideal world, I want to implement this stuff all the time. So I'm thinking, like, why wouldn't I ground more? So if, let's say, I do get some sort of a mat that helps with grounding, like, why not just put my feet on it as I'm working, Or, if I can work outside for a little bit, maybe do that at the same time. Or just do it, without work. I don't know why I'm trying to, like, multitask over here.
I know, right? And, just for the listeners, grounding is, usually you just go outside barefoot in the grass, in the dirt, just on earth. It has to be earth, and just stand there. And then I know some people lay down and do it also, but it really, really helps.
It really helps.
And I'm not a health person, so I can't remember the exact benefits of it, but I know I've done it and you just feel a lot better.
Yeah, I can. It goes back to the nervous system. It goes back to that. And
it does.
It's like that feeling when you have in nature immediately, like you walk into or you're on a hike, you're like, wow, my nervous system feels really nice right now, or like I'm at peace. What is that feeling? And that's just, it's like human nature. We're meant to be doing these things. We're not meant to be in concrete jungles,
exactly.
In front of our laptops every moment of the day. So we have to make a conscious effort to be in nature, to get outside, get sunshine, increase our vitamin D levels, because most people are deficient.
Oh yeah.
And then that's why we do these like interesting like things like grounding, or we're put in a position where we have to ground because we don't have access to it all the time. So these are the important, like, small micro actions that we can take, and then we end up feeling way better. It's like you said, when you went on your trip and you're like, gosh, there's something wrong, And I know plenty of people who are just like drained, tired. They don't know why, but it's so possible. It's so possible to change your state, to change your physical state, your energetic state. And this is coming from someone who's like so ill that she's like, I couldn't get out of bed. Like, I actually couldn't get out of bed. So, I mean, somebody had to physically pull me out of bed. So I'm happy those days are past me, but I know that I am susceptible to burnout, for example, and like things like if I don't take care of myself. So I do have to practice what I preach. So, and lately I've been like doing a lot of podcasts, and I have some events coming up, and it's just a lot of energy drainage, but I'm really on top of it. So I've like doubled up on taking care of myself, because I know this is happening, and I know I don't want to ever be in that, in a state where I have like an energy loss and I'm coming from this like super drained place. Instead, I want to be coming from a place of energy and vitality, and, and I want to spread that message.
Yep. Yeah. That's amazing and so important, and your energy is incredible.
Oh, like, thank you.
This is the second time I talked to you, and you lift me up.
Oh,
like, it's incredible.
You lift me up.
Well, awesome. I'm glad. I'm glad.
Thank you. I so appreciate that. That's really sweet.
Oh, yeah. So, do you have any last words of wisdom you would like to share?
Last words of wisdom. I would say that if anyone's listening to the show and they feel like they're in a dark place, it could be a really, really dark place, or it could feel like I'm not feeling like myself. Just ask for help. I mean, just DM me. Just DM Nick. Don't be shy to express yourself, and anything is possible. Like, I feel like I'm a walking miracle. I don't know if, Nick, you agree. Sometimes I feel like where we're at is like, it's almost miraculous, because I really didn't think I could ever be like I hate to put it this way, but like normal or even joyous or even doing what I want. So I think it's possible and miracles can happen. It's just, it's up to you to believe in yourself.
Exactly. 100%.
Yeah.
You have to believe in yourself.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
So my slogan is your abilities are infinite. What does that mean to you?
I would say that your abilities being infinite means that you are a limitless being. I always talk about Jim Quick's book Limitless, and he teaches a lot about this mindset of like infinite potential, and it's like you can crack your own code, you can do things better and faster, you could read faster, you could do things that you never thought you could. You could, I don't know, like walk a little faster. I mean, there's so many things, but I think it's like a knowing, a deep knowing that you are this limitless being, and that you can, expand your sunshine, and you could spread it to as many people as possible. And it's really all about that.
Yep, I agree. I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
You.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
So how can people find you?
So I am on Instagram on Be Well by Sarina. They can also go on my website, www.bewellbysarina.com, and Sarina is spelled Sarina. And yeah, that's the two best ways to get in touch with me. Just Instagram, or and then you can book a call with me. I'm totally open to chatting, or just follow my content. I have some good stuff, and I have some other podcasts coming out, and hopefully, Nick, you and I could do more stuff. Who knows what the future holds?
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. And I'll drop all your links in the show notes so everybody can find you.
Thank you so much, Nick. Thank you. You're seriously the best. It's been an absolute honor and pleasure. And I'm so glad you're doing stuff like this, because we need you. We need your voice to be heard and amplified. And I'm here to support you along the way.
Well, thank you. That means so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. This was really great.
Okay, cool.
If you enjoyed this show, please go ahead and share it on your Instagram story and tag me in the Nick Yerhart. Also, go ahead and share it anywhere else that you see fit, because the only way that I can grow this is by you guys sharing it. I don't sell anything on here. I don't have any sponsors, so let's just get it out there by word of mouth and help more people. Alright, everyone, remember, your abilities are infinite.